time that many will never forget in northern Utah, the floods of '82 and '83. It was a sight never seen before in Utah and not one seen since. Downtown Salt Lake City streets turned into rivers. State Street, it became an extension of City Creek Canyon when high runoff couldn't be handled by the storm drains. 13th South, another sandbagged river. Even the baseball stadium, Dirks Field, found itself cut off by the rising waters. The water ran and ran until it poured into the Jordan River. But it wasn't easy. In places, the sandbags broke and the melding of street rivers looked like the confluence of the Colorado and Green. So how did this happen? It was actually building for several years. 1981-82 water year was record-breaking, and City Creek Canyon here was still a sleepy little stream. That was all to change the next year. Then the winter of '82-83, the snows fell and fell and fell. And the spring stayed cool until late May. Then heat into the 90s, and that brought the water down.
Think of it as you have a bucket of water and you want to pour that water out. If you pour it slowly over a period of time, it's not going to cause any problems. But if you take the whole bucket and dump it at once, it's going to cause problems.
The State Street and 13th South sandbagged rivers got all the attention, but the problem spread further than downtown Salt Lake City. In the neighborhoods, water lapped at doors and windows.
Just go! Don't fall!
And sometimes people even had to evacuate at night. The natural rivers and streams were over their banks, and anyone along the Jordan River faced problems. Reservoirs were filled to the brim and putting pressure on the dams. This is Mountain Bell and Parley's Canyon. In other areas, the moisture-full mountainsides gave way, and mud was the problem. Mud flows, mud streams, and mud in homes. And where does all the water that runs into the Wasatch Front go? Naturally, to the Great Salt Lake and its wetlands. They were wetter than ever and even cut off access to duck clubs and other businesses near the lake. It was tough to rent a horse pasture when ducks were swimming in it. Perhaps the saddest business loss was Salt Air, which was rebuilt and opened on the south shore of the Great Salt Lake just before the water began rising. As you can see in these pictures, the water cut off Salt Air and even poured over its dance floor. The road to Antelope Island was washed out, as was the railroad causeway, even though they worked furiously to save it. Interstate 80 suffered, with water so high that one side had to be shut down in Tooele County. All in all, it was a mess for northern Utah. But at the end of the day, there could still be beauty, even when you realize these pictures were taken from the edge of I-80. You know, there was actually so much video on our vaults from those days we could have put together a 30-minute show. If you'd like to see this again or any of our other Rewind reports, just go to our website, abc4.com. Clayton.